Hello and welcome to part two of lesson 3, advanced topics. So in the last part of a part, we left off here with our watering can. Yes, thank you for reminding me that it has not been saved in 20 minutes. We good? Did I save it? Okay, I saved it. Um, so we made our extrude and our shell, and then we made our sweep for the handle. And then in this part, we're going to create the spout and then add some fillets to make it look nice. So the first thing we need to do is actually we're going to put a hole right there. That's where the water is going to come out. So let's do an extrude cut on this face. Control 8 to center. Get our center rectangle. And just draw a rough square. And we'll set the size to 30 each. We'll say that the center here is 30 from the top. And we'll say that the center is vertically aligned. Okay. So there we go. So it's cutting through. And this is a good example of when you would want to use blind up to next or up to surface. And I'll show you why. So right now, with blind at 100, it's cutting through the entire flower pot. Watering can. It's watering can. And it's starting to actually cut through the handle, which we don't want that to happen. So maybe we just want this to say be 5, so that could work. And then it would only go through the wall. But if the thickness of the wall changed, oh, excuse me for the yawn, or maybe the wall wasn't so even, you could do either up to surface and choose the surface, or probably, I don't want to say the best because there is no best, you could do up to next. So if you remember what through all does, where it goes through everything, up to next is essentially like through all, so it's going to go through all of this surface until it encounters another something, and then it's just not going to cut through that. So then you don't have to worry about how thick it is or anything about the surfaces. So I'm going to do up to next, and there's that. So now, if we come back to our bad flower pot, which I think is this one, yes. So we had our cutout right here, and we extruded on the side, and then on this side, and then the top, and it was just very ugly. It was bad. So instead of doing that, we're going to be using the Loft tool. Where is it? There it is. Loft base boss base right there. Okay. And the way the Loft tool works is it takes a bunch of sketches in a tower sort of, and then it will turn those sketches into a object. Is this one? So something like the spout right here. So first we need to make the sketches, and what we can do is we can go to features and then do the reference geometry, and we can make more planes. So just like we have our front, top, and right planes, we can make new ones. So our reference for these new planes are going to be this front face, and we want this first one to be 60 away. So that's a reference. We can say parallel, perpendicular, and you can define them with a variety of ways. So say you could have like a point or another object right here. You could have the plane project up to that, and so on. You could have angular offsets, but right now we just want the distance. And then we want another plane, this time 80. Okay, so we have our planes, and now we're going to make our sketches. So I'm coming over to sketch, choose this surface. I'm going to do Control 8, and I want this square. So a couple ways you could do that is you could come over here and show the sketch, and whether or not you show the sketch from the extrude doesn't really matter. Actually, it does for what we're going to do. So I'm going to, for the sake of this, I'm not going to show the sketch. So I'm going to come over here to convert entities, and this is essentially going to take things in your model and put them into your sketch. So it's going to convert entities. So I'm going to click on these, not the face, these lines right here on not the face. There we go. So now these 4 lines are in the sketch. I don't actually want these 4 lines because I want our sketch to have a little bit of an offset to it. So I'm going to do for construction. So I selected all of those, said that they were for construction, and then I'm going to come to offset entities, and it's going to offset them relatively simply. And I'm going to say that this is going to be 2.5 thick, and there we go. And exit sketch, and there's our first sketch done. Now for the second sketch on plane 1. Of course, you can rename them. So I want this one to be a square, like so. Let's say 30 and 30. So it'll come down a little bit. And then we want this to be aligned, once again, with the origin. So they are vertically aligned. And then let's say that this one has come up from the bottom 20 seems good. Sure, let's go with 20. And there's our second sketch. And finally our third sketch. And by the way, you can scroll to go along this. I've been doing that a lot. I don't think I've mentioned it by name. Take a circle. Let's call that you shall be 40 millimeters in diameter. It shall be vertically aligned with that point, and it shall be a distance of so 7.5. How about 10? Too much? Let's do 5. I think 5 is a little bit better. And there is our third sketch done. Okay, so now it's time for the loft. Now it's going to ask us for our profiles. So we can say this one, and then this one, and then this one. And what is this mess? I'm going to just click the check mark so you can better see it. That is a interesting spout. It's quite a twist. It's very twisty. Yeah. I did intentionally do that, just so you could see. Because when the loft is being created, it has to figure out which points to match to where. So if you have a square here, and you aren't limited to just squares and circles, you can have any shape, doesn't even have to be a regular polygon, it's going to try and say, well, this vertex here at this green dot is going to try and go to this vertex here at the green dot, and it's going to figure out the rest. So we can just move that over there, and that's better. Or alternatively, you could move this over here, and that's better. Yeah, and then there's still a little bit of a twist because that's not quite right there. So there we go. You can adjust that a little bit. Or you can make your middle sketch, like in the original one, I did a circle for the middle one. And actually I want to edit the middle one because I don't like it completely. Let's call you 20 instead. You should also be, let's do 25 instead. And this will come up 30, because why not? Let's see how that looks. There we go, that looks pretty good. Oh yes, now we have to put a hole in it. So we have a hole back here, but it's not going to follow the loft. So we can use our shell again, but first we're going to be done with these planes, so I'm just going to control select both of those and right click and hide, because I don't need to see them anymore. So let's do a shell here and here. Is that going to work? Nope. Thickness value is greater than the minimum radius of curvature, which probably means that it worked, but it isn't happy because like it had to get in close. So this is kind of weird too right here, because we have the two different sized holes. So I'm just going to come back. I can't delete this because if I went here and deleted this, all of these features that we just made, which are dependent on that, would be deleted too. So we're just going to suppress it. And once again, they also disappeared because they were dependent. And the reason I showed this sketch, the first one that we made, so if you come over to edit sketch, yeah. Okay, I think it's going to make us unsuppress that first. So right click unsuppress. edit the sketch, and unsuppress. Edit the sketch. Okay. So when we did our, I'm just gonna delete the whole thing. When we did the, yes, fine, sure. Convert entities, we did it with the cut extrude right here. But when we got rid of the cut extrude, then it had no reference to take the, it didn't have, the lines weren't there, so it couldn't reference them. And that's just another way you can sort of see how SolidWorks works in this tree structure. So it creates this feature and then so on and so on. So if this feature doesn't exist, then in this feature it takes something from this feature, then this feature can't exist. I think it was maybe a little bit complicated the way I said that, but I can just select this sketch and click the check mark, and then it'll project that sketch. No problem. Offset entities, I'll take all of those. Once again, 2.5. And we need to take the middle ones for construction. So now I'm going to come back and unsuppress all of this. Unsuppress, just continue, ignore error, blah, blah, blah. I don't care. I'll get to that in just a moment. What's wrong with this one? Okay, so it doesn't like that I have, so this is turned like a dark yellow. It's because there's a undefined relation. So it knows that there was something here, but it's gone now because we just deleted it. So I'm going to delete that and then redefine it. So click center and right there and 30 once again. And we should be good after that. There we go. No problem. So now if we suppress this, there is no issue. Now if we come to the shell, edit feature, and maybe make this a little bit thinner, so like 2.5 like we originally had. Some missing entries, press yes to remove missing references. So I'm just going to say yes, and I think it's going to fix it. No? Oh, I forgot to unsuppress it. Whoops, there we go. Ta-da, it did, oh, didn't go through. This is the design process right here. So let's choose that face as well. And, well, I don't think that happened in the original. Hold on. Okay, I figured it out. I sort of cheated the system when I did it the first time. When I came into this shell value, I made it 5, which was the same thickness as the wall, so it couldn't make a shell. Essentially, yes, yeah, it's going to automatically do that, whatever. I also came in and changed this sketch to have 25 tall, if you want to keep up with that. So now the basics are pretty much done. We're just going to add some fillets to make it look a little bit nicer. So we can start off by taking this edge right here, and so on. We can make this not 10. Let's do 2.5. Let's see how that works. That's much. 1.5. How's that? That looks good. Let's do 1.5 on this one as well. There we go. What else? Okay. We can also do these big corners right here because those are sharp. Those can be sharp. So let's try 10. We'll actually use 10 for once. Isn't that funny? We can select these edges, and then we should also be able to select this face, and it'll do all of the ones on the face. Then we select these outside edges too. But don't worry about the ones in the bottom. We'll get to those in just a minute. So there we go. That looks much better. This bat looks a little weird still. I'm actually going to shrink this back down to, you know what? I can change this plane's definition, and let's call that 50. See if I push that back a little bit, what'll happen. That's better. Kinda. It's still a little twisted. Like I said, in the original model, instead of doing a square here, I did a circle, but I thought I'd showcase the twisty feature. So in case you encountered that, you would know what was going on. Let's do another fillet over here. Not 10. Once again, let's try 1. Is that gonna work? There we go. Sometimes you have to make sure you have all of the edges selected. then one final thing for all of the edges that we haven't touched yet. I'm just going to do another 0.5 fillet. Actually, that may be too small. I don't want. Actually, yeah, that's fine. So there, all the edges down here on this face. We can do this inner loop. Why not here as well? We can do these side ones. And this is, once again, when you may want to have partial preview, or depending on your needs, skip some of the fields. Like here is probably not super necessary. There we go. Let's see how that comes out. There we go. 0.5 might have been a little bit too not enough. So I'll change this up to 0.75. How does that look? There we go. I think I can live with that. So here's our strange looking, not flower pot, but watering can. Thank you for watching part 2 of lesson 3. And in the next part, we will take this and then use some patterns and text to make it a little bit fancier. Farewell, I will see you then.